The year is 2000. The internet is booming. Every company on the internet is going through the roof in terms of valuations. But then suddenly it all stops. The party stops. Guys, this happened during the dot-com mania in the year 2000, at least. That was the last part of the dot-com cycle. And I want to have a talk about, I want to compare this right now with crypto, because I think there are so many comparisons between the dot-com bubble and between crypto. And I want to start off with the most obvious one, of course. And the most obvious one is that it is an adoption of new technology. So the internet was a boom. When the internet came, no one understood the internet. It was first used by so-called criminals. Slowly the adoption started until it went to an extreme and eventually reached very high levels, and everyone was invested in internet companies until the year 2000, when the market topped. And I think maybe more than 90% of the internet companies, they disappeared. They completely disappeared from even the tickers. You can't even find the tickers anymore because the companies went bankrupt. So crypto is actually the same thing, guys. So with crypto as well, we have, first of all, it was magic internet money, right? Nobody understand what it exactly did, right? Then it slowly got this adoption, the train goes, and now we are in a state where everyone knows crypto. Most people own a little bit of crypto, but most people can tell something about it. Also, the story that is being used by criminals, of course, which of course is happening, but it happens with money as well. So that's really not an argument to make. But the most important thing with this whole story is the human cycle of emotions. The adoption cycle has certain emotions attached to every stage, and when we are at a certain stage we can see where we are. But I believe we are going to see the same thing as the year 2000, that 90% of the cryptos, the tokens, they will actually go to zero. They will be deleted from coin market cap. Their ticker will be gone once the market will reach the ultimate climax, maybe this year or maybe next year. So let's have a look at some companies, guys, from the infamous dot-com stocks. Okay, we have, for example, pets.com was very popular. Pets.com, I didn't even know what the website did. Pet supply e-commerce, like a web shop for pets or something. Bankrupt in the year 2000. They even had Super Bowl ads. Can you imagine? Like, haven't we heard that somewhere before? Definitely heard that with crypto as well. We had etoys.com is one an example. Online toy retailer, 8 billion market cap at the peak, like bankrupt in 2001. Then we had, and this one I find very, very interesting. This is Excite at Home, was a web portal and an internet provider. They were worth 35 billion in 1999. 35 billion, and in 2001 they went bankrupt. And if you have a valuation of 35 billion in 1999, guys, how much money would that be in today's terms? And if we just look, for example, at the market cap of Solana, which is 60 billion US dollars, then you could imagine something like Solana being deleted from the cryptocurrency market, just evaporate, being bankrupt after this hype is over. So why went all these companies bankrupt? Because they cannot handle a recession. They only thrive during risk-on periods. So in certain emotional states, with certain hype, they will only thrive. But outside of that, they will not thrive at all, because there are different priorities in the world, and they are their fundamental base is very loose. So once they lose maybe a little bit of income, or they lose a little bit of hype, the team just stops and the thing just get they declare bankruptcy or something like that. So I think something similar we can see with crypto. The big question is, of course, have we seen that crazy hype already? We have seen Super Bowl ads and crazy things, or are we still going to see that last piece of climax, the last piece of hype, the golden age that everyone is talking about? Are we going to see that? I personally believe that we are going to see that, because I don't think we have seen a crazy mania with crypto in 2017, but I don't believe that we have seen the crazy mania like recently. And one of the characteristics of the end of the cycle, the end of such adoption cycle in terms of the emotional states, is a very extreme reading in the emotional state. So this is also something you and I got to be very careful about, because once we are in the markets and we are caught in this emotional state, it is super difficult to see the bigger picture. It's really so difficult, because your vision is basically blurred with all your emotions. Do you think that many people were forecasting the dotcom bubble? No, because I've heard and I've talked with people who lived through that. I asked them, because that's always the first thing that I ask when I meet someone that is an older generation than me, that was active in the financial markets. I always ask them, how did you experience the dotcom crash? Did you see it coming? Like, what were the signs before, you know? I'm really interested in that. And most of the stories that I heard from people are like, yes, suddenly it just crashed. Nobody expected it. Suddenly, out of nothing, bam. We had 9/11 coming in too as well, which kicked off the top of the markets, of course. That was the start of the crash. But you cannot, like, the crazy thing is like, this is also part of that cycle. So seeing an extreme event happening on the earth is part of that cycle, because the emotional state that we are in with humans is going through certain peaks and certain lows. And the sunspot cycles, the solar cycles, will activate the energy within the human being as well. So it will bring our energy to a maximum, which will bring the market's energy to a maximum, which eventually is going to clash. There will manifest some event, which eventually will be the start of the turning point of the solar energy decreasing again, with all the markets coming down. This is part of nature, guys. I personally believe that. And I think we are right now in the midst of the peak of that cycle. So I hope we are still going to get that last phase, which can maybe last 1 year, maybe 1.5 years, maybe late 2026, maybe early 2026, maybe late 2025. We can see that mania building up again. Hopefully, would be really nice, because we need some nice exits in the market as well. But yeah, we got to be really careful that we are not getting caught up in the emotional state of the markets, because if you look at the historical investors from the dotcom bubble, guys, they were some pretty smart minds, and almost no one was able to predict this, because they are blurred with their emotional glasses. That's the whole point. And I've been there myself so many times, guys, really so many times. And I'm getting caught up in the emotional states still today, while I'm doing my best not to get caught up in emotional states. I even developed a website that is helping me to know whether I'm caught in the emotional state or not. It is reading the sentiment online from various websites, and it then tells me exactly what the market sentiment is on that specific day, right? So I can, even with that tool, sometimes I'm caught up in the emotional state. So that tells already how difficult it is to try to have a contrarian standpoint sometimes. But this is very important, and this is what also we are going to try to do on this channel. We are definitely going to try and exit at a responsible manner when we are going to see this hype building up again. Hopefully that it will come, that it will be the last part of the cycle, where we can see And this is a little bit how I imagine it, guys, but this is really early in the shoes and really speculative, of course, but I'm just going to speak my mind right here. Then I'm going to end the video as well. So the markets right now are crashing, right? Trump is forcing the markets to crash, right? We have seen a crazy correction already on the S&P 500. Maybe we are going to go a little bit lower. This happened exactly in 1998 as well, exactly with the dot-com bubble. But almost the same scenario. It's the same playbook that's going out, and that's like you ever heard about history does not repeat itself, but it certainly does rhyme. Well, it definitely does rhyme. It doesn't repeat itself exactly. It's not like a copy one-to-one, but if you just put those cycles next to each other, it's like, wow, it is almost one-to-one. Right? Just like back in the days, it was the internet boom. Now it is the crypto or AI boom. So there's an adoption of new technology, which is first not understand it, then understand it, then accelerate it, then the hype is built. This is the exact playbook we have seen so many times. So what I think is going to happen, but again, early child shoes right here, a lot of speculation. Trump is forcing the markets to come down. He wants interest rates to being lowered. The interest rates will be lowered maybe in June, July, maybe even earlier with an emergency meeting. We don't know yet, but I believe that will be lowered. Then we get a V-shaped recovery on the S&P 500, breaking above the previous highs. That is the moment we are going to see extreme mania. We are going to see crypto prices going through the roof. We are going to see alt season. We are going to see stories of the golden age. We are going to see a lot of risk being taken on by investors. And this is the moment we enter the distribution phase, because that is the moment where we actually have to exit our positions and prepare for a lot of years of for economic decline. A lot of tough years are probably coming, and maybe that's also going to be the time you want to leave Babylon. I personally believe that might be a good idea, especially if your money stretches farther in different countries. This is all strategies we can talk about. We talk about this already in the community, the wealth transfer community. Link is down below in the description, guys. I just thought I'm going to talk more about this subject, and I want to follow this path together with you. We have to at least once a week just look at this chart, bring it up in the videos, so we are aware of that. If that fractal is playing out, that we are making the right decisions, investment decisions, and we can keep a helicopter view. We can look at the markets from a distance, even though we are sometimes caught up in the emotional state. So we should be focused on day-to-day price action, of course, especially if you want to trade, right? But we should never lose the bigger picture right here, okay? Guys, that was it for today's video. Drop a thumbs up if you like it. If you want to hear more of this subject or you have your own opinion, let me know in the comment section down below. I want to wish every single one of you a beautiful day today. It is very beautiful right now in the Netherlands. I hope it is as beautiful is where you are right now. So yeah, guys, wish you a beautiful day. See you on the next video. Bye bye.